Chapter 29. Out the Back Door. Francie spun and reached for the handle but heard the click of a lock, then the sound of heels clattering away down the long hall in the other direction. Stupid! She jiggled the door handle. No good. She was about to pound on the door when a voice behind her hissed, "Stop it!" Francie spun around. Nobody. "Be quiet and don't bang on the door," the voice whispered. "What the? Who are you?" Francie groped around until her fingers met a mop of dusty-feeling hair. "TJ? What are you doing here?" "I'm taking the pins out of the hinges," he answered matter-of-factly. "Okay, good plan, but why are you in here?" "We can't sit here jibber-jabbering. Help me with this top pin. I can't reach it, and hurry up. That lady's going to do something terrible." That was probably true. In all likelihood, she'd come back with a shotgun. "What has Freddie got against you?" "Who's Freddie?" "Mrs. Fredrickson." Hereafter referred to as the worst witch of all times, TJ said. "But why did she put you in here?" "That lady found out something I know about. She's going to wreck everything. I know it." "What are you talking about?" "If we get out of here, I'll show you. But hurry, we got to get this other pin out. She's going to come back." The pin, however, was stuck. Francie felt around on the closet floor for something, anything, to use as a tool. Ah, a shoe. A shoe with a spike heel. "Shh," TJ hissed. "I hear someone." The sound of approaching footsteps made them freeze. Not until the footsteps continued past the door did they breathe again. Then Francie used the heel of the shoe to hammer at the pin. "Be quiet," TJ said, "and hurry." "I can't be quiet and pound at the same time," Francie whispered. "Whack," TJ said. Francie banged away at the pin until it finally gave. Together they jiggled the door loose from its hinges, set it aside, and stepped out of the closet. There, at the end of the hall, with his mouth agape, was Nels. "What are you doing here?" she said. "Spying on you. What do you think? I'm going to let you wander around outside when there's someone trying to kill you?" "Why didn't you come in? She was scaring the crap out of me." "I thought you'd be furious if I came in while you were talking. I watched through the kitchen window and saw the two of you seeming semi-normal. Not weird enough to come busting in, but then she grabbed your arm, not in a friendly way, and you both disappeared. Next time I heard the back door slam, and I ran behind the house and saw her stalking off into the woods. Then I came looking for you." "The woods?" Francie said. "She's probably gone to get the splitting maul. She could be back at any time. Let's get out of here." She started through the house toward the front door, away from the woods. "No," TJ said. "We have to go after her." "No way," Francie exclaimed. "She's crazy. She wants to kill us." "You people, you don't understand. This is serious. That lady is going to the site." "Site?" Francie asked. "What are you talking about?" "Ugh," TJ groaned. "Just come with me. I'll show you. We've got to stop her. If you won't come with me, I'll go myself. I'm serious. I will." Francie and Nels looked at each other. Nels grabbed at TJ, but TJ squirted out of his grasp and started for the back door. "Okay, TJ, we'll come with you." Nels started after him. "Right, Francie?" he said, turning toward her. "Right," Francie said. "Sure." Nels followed TJ out the back door. "I'll catch up," Francie called after them. There was something she wanted to do first. Francie jogged through several rooms looking for the silver box, but she couldn't remember which room she'd been in and when she'd seen it. After a frantic search, she realized she wasn't going to find it, and she knew she couldn't leave TJ and Nels to face Freddie alone. Nor did she want to face her alone, so she moved quickly toward the back of the house. In the kitchen, she picked up her flashlight. As she ran past the window, she caught her reflection floating by like a ghost. Or, she wondered as she raced down the long hallway, had there been someone outside passing by the window? She barged out the back door and smacked head first into Sheriff Johnson? Francie gasped. Potter said we might find you here. She noticed he had several deputies with him. His dog sniffed around at her feet. Words began to rush out of her. Oh, good. We have got to follow TJ. He knows where she's gone. We've got to hurry. Nelson, TJ. But the sheriff was talking right back at her, not listening. In addition to aiding and abetting, he was saying, You're not listening to me, she yelled. She thought she heard the same thing coming from him. Stop talking, she cried, waving her arms, which were quickly snatched up and held behind her back by one of the deputies. Now, why don't you tell me where your aunts are? The sheriff said. Why don't you tell me? She struggled against the deputy's grip, although she knew she shouldn't. What are you doing? And what do you mean about my aunts? Aren't they in jail? You know very well they aren't, and you're under arrest on suspicion of... Behind the sheriff, Francie thought she saw something moving among the trees. She tried to peer past the blinding flashlight beams into the dark woods. Whatever it was, if anything, disappeared among the trees. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't know where your aunts are. I can't look anybody in the eye with that flashlight beam in my face. Cuff her, deputy, the sheriff said. Listen to me, Francie pleaded while struggling to stay out of the handcuffs. There's a mad woman loose. TJ is out there in harm's way. She's dangerous. She tried to explain while also trying to pay attention to the sheriff. She was pretty sure she heard resisting arrest and possibly impersonating an officer come out of his mouth. The sudden ching-ching of multiple sprinklers leaping to their task distracted everyone for a moment, including the dog, who tucked his tail and yelped in surprise. Francie kept her wits and bolted. No sooner had she ducked behind the nearest shed that she felt a large hand cover her mouth and a strong arm wrap around her waist. Stay quiet. It was Nels. Shh, both of you. That was TJ. The sprinklers shut off as unexpectedly as they had started, and the men's voices rang, bright and metallic, through the sudden stillness. This way! Came a nearby shout. Francie stiffened as she heard them clattering toward the shed. Then, improbably, a yard light switched on in the distance. Hey, somebody yelled. A motion detector light just went on in the front yard. The sounds of the men receded away toward the light, while Francie felt herself being swept into the woods. As the voices faded, she heard the sprinklers snap on again. Nels, she whispered over the merry ching-ching of the sprinklers. The sheriff said my aunts busted out of jail. I know. You knew? Why didn't you tell me? You didn't give me a chance. They came to the cabin after you left. Potter told them where you were. They took their boat, and I raced over here through the woods. The sheriff thinks I was the one who busted them out. I know that, too. That's what I was going to tell you, that the sheriff was looking for you. Come on, TJ whined, pulling on their arms. Hurry! TJ moved like a little bear cub on a trail only he could see, while Francie and Nell stumbled along behind. There was only a thin fringe of wood separating the Fredericksons and the bog, and they soon glimpsed an opening through the trees. They stopped and hid behind a clump of birches and surveyed the clearing. The veiled moon cast a pale light over the old bog. Here and there, a few scraggly, lopsided tamaracks jutted up into the sky, pointy as witches' hats, while wisps of mist rose from the wet ground. Except for the occasional tapping of water that dripped from the tamarack needles and the ever-present hum of mosquitoes, it was quiet. The rain had eased up, the wind had backed down, and an ominous stillness had settled over everything. Breaking the silence, TJ said, I don't think she's here, yet. They switched on their flashlights and crept into the bog, the beams bouncing off the uneven ground, silvering the pale grasses and flashing up into the distant darkness. TJ led them to a spot where the vegetation had been torn away, and Francie shone her light on it, the raw earth like a gaping, open wound. The beam caught the glint of a shovel blade, pale stones, and something slick and shiny that Francie recognized as a tarp. "What's under there?" Francie asked. "See for yourself," TJ said. Nels lifted the edge of the tarp while Francie directed the flashlight beam under it. The beam traveled along the black earth, glancing off small stray pebbles or shiny bits of stuff, then shone on something. A root? What was that? She swept the light over the ground again, slower this time, and made out the shape of something that sent a creepy chill down her spine. "Fantastic," Nels breathed. "Unbelievable." "What is it?" Francie asked. "Mastodon bones," TJ said. Francie was struck silent as she realized she was looking at the bones of an animal that had lived how many thousands of years ago? After a few moments of silent awe, the implications of this find began to dawn on her. "Ah," she said. "Ah." "Ah, what?" Nels said. "This is where the road is supposed to go," Francie explained. "Right here over these bones. A find like this would bring construction to a standstill for who knows how long. Because who knows how many bones might be around here. They might be scattered all over the place. They'd have to do a big dig, and that would thwart Mrs. Fredrickson's plans. She needs the road to build her condominium paradise." What was it she had said, though? Something about smoke and mirrors? Or whatever it is she's got planned back here, Francie finished. "Right," TJ said. "That's why she wants to wreck it. She wants to smash it all to pieces. She just gets rid of anything she doesn't like." "Anything that stands in her way," Francie agreed. "Like she needed to get rid of the old folks and Buck." "And Warren," TJ piped up. "Yeah," Francie said. "Why Warren?" Warren was going to go to town to talk to the state archaeologist who was here for a historical society thing. But the wicked witch killed him before he could get there. Warren and me thought it was only us two who knew about the site, and we meant to let the right people know, but then we realized someone else knew, somebody who was making a holy mess out of it every night. I tried to find out who it was." "Is that what you were doing out so late at night?" "Yeah," TJ said. "Whoever it was worked late at night." "I know who it was," Francie said. "But now she's going to try to wreck everything," TJ went on. "That's what she wants to do. We have to stop her." "But what? What's she going to do?" Nels asked. "These bones are huge, heavy, and embedded in this muck. It's not like she's going to dig them up by herself. And even if she did, what would she do with them? Drag them away and hide them under a rug in her house?" "She'll think of a way to wreck them. She's evil," TJ wailed. "How? How can she wreck them? With a shovel? Her bare hands? How?" I don't know, TJ cried. "Oh, for the love of Pete," Francie said. "I know how she can do it. She's got a—" Francie was interrupted by the rumbling thrum of heavy equipment echoing through the stillness, accompanied by sounds of splintering saplings. "Bulldozer," she finished. "Holy crap," Nels said. "She's got her own dozer?" "Apparently she just kept it after the house building project. Something about the lake freezing over." The rumbling of the machine cut her off. "We have to stop her. Have to," TJ wailed. How, Francie wondered, were the three of them going to stop a bulldozer?